What's up? Today we're gonna pull the motor out of the Explorer, and I'm cleaning up the engine bay right now in the Ranger. Probably test fit the motor today if that happens. Of course, I'm starting to film. Everyone decides to cut their grass. So far, all I've really done is taken some degreaser, cleaner, kind of wiped down the firewall, some other random spots. I pulled out this PCV stuff. I'm just deleting all this when I do the swap. No need for that. Got one motor mount pulled off. Was gonna go to pull that one, and I figured I should start filming before I get too far ahead again and miss everything. Something strange with this one on that side. I'm gonna crawl underneath the truck and I'm gonna show you. Alright, under here now is the top of the motor mount. Underneath is where the bolt is, or the nut that holds the motor mount on, right there. It's at a really weird angle and you can't just get a socket in there because of the angle it's on. It hits the frame and you can't even get to it, so that's weird. Then I noticed there's a hole in the frame there, and underneath, so what you need is a extension on your socket, and it goes right through the frame and you can get to the bolt. Motor mounts off. I'm in the engine bay here. When I did the solid axle, obviously the motor was in here, so I couldn't get to much on the frame when I cut everything off. So you can see there's still some stuff left on the frame here, just little edges of stuff, brackets that I cut off. Now that I have all this room, I'm gonna take the grinder and try and smooth these out some more. Then I'm gonna switch to the flat disc, clean up the back side of my frame, get it all smoothed down, bare metal, and then I'm gonna put some epoxy on it, get it sealed up, since I probably won't be in here again, hopefully not. Paint the back side of these hoops, everything I just couldn't get to with the motor in here. I want to get done before I start pulling that, because I know once I pull that I'm gonna be in a rush to get it in here, and then I might skip over the stuff. So I'm just gonna take my time, do it now, that way it's done. I think the details like this make a big difference when you're doing this. I could have just slapped it in here and not cleaned anything up or done any of that, but I think having it clean, taking the time, really makes a big difference on this. Just when it has a 5 liter, I'm sure people don't want to see it, and I don't want to like open the hood or they look underneath and then it just looks like trash, like I didn't take my time on it. Yeah. Don't forget some protection here. It's all this rust flying around, so I'm gonna clean this up. Engine bay is all cleaned up. Just, like I said, moving stuff around, cleaning, wiping stuff down. I didn't really wipe any of this down. I can get to that with the motor in there. Frame looks a lot better. Clean everything up. Got some more welds on these shock tabs. When the motor was in there, I could only get so far up in there with the welder. Now, with everything gone, I could get a full weld all the way around all that. It wasn't cracked, nothing like that, so it was holding just fine, but I like to see a full weld. I don't want to see a half weld, even if that will hold. So I think I'm pretty much done with the Ranger, cleaning the engine bay. I'm going to start with the Explorer now, pulling the motor out. I don't know how much you guys want to see of me pulling the motor out, like how specific you want me to get, but it seems like some of the questions I get on the stuff I do is like really specific, and stuff I just completely looked over and didn't even think someone would want to know. So some of the videos might be really long, really boring, like really pulling off this, like anyone could do that, but I'm just gonna record it all because it's only gonna happen one time, so I don't want to miss it, and then a lot of people end up asking me questions about it or something like that. Alright, so first thing I'm gonna do is start with coolant, because this is, like I said in the last video, I absolutely hate coolant. I just want to get that out of the way. The petcock on the radiator is on that side, but it looks like to get to it, there's this shroud down here, air dam, whatever you want to call it. It's got 4 10 mils in it, 2 on either side. I'm gonna pull that out. I wonder if that would fit in the Ranger. I feel like that would help a little bit with cooling, kind of direct the air. Now with that out of the way, we can get to the petcock for the radiator to drain it. draining, I guess the first thing I should have done is disconnected this battery. This side's got this weird lever thing on it. It's kind of nice. Battery's already loose on that side. This one's got an 8mm on it. Take these off quick. Another thing I like, pulled the battery out. This battery tray in here is plastic. In the Ranger, when I was cleaning everything up, I painted my battery tray because it's starting to rust. I mean, not bad, but it just had some rust at the bottom of it. I'm sure some water sat in there. I wonder if that one could swap into here. It'd be nice to not worry about any more rust in there. So I have a plastic one. I think I'm gonna pull it out right now though, just so it's out of the way. The battery tray has 3 13mm bolts. One up here on the fender, one down here on the core support, and then tucked down here, there's one, which is fighting me in a strip now. So I got this cool kit from Matco for strip bolts. Kind of a weird shape. It's like a, I don't even know how to describe that, but it's got some teeth in there. You pound it on and it'll take strip bolts off. It works pretty well. And then it's really easy to figure out which size you need. 13, so you need number 7, go to number 7 around here. I can't really pound it in there because it's underneath the radiator here, radiator core support. And I got it on a swivel. This is how I stripped it to begin with. I didn't have a swivel and I had it on an angle and just ended up stripping it. So I'm just gonna see if this works here without even pounding it on. Like that. Not the best nut. I should be able to wiggle this tray out. I'm gonna go after this air box next, just because it's kind of big, bulky, and in the way. Just gonna start by taking the hose off here. The hose clamps, I'll just unplug the mass airflow, undo this part from the air cleaner, that whole box. This looks like a PCV, goes to this oil tube here. I'll just pull that off, do it here, and this will all come right out. The intake tube out of the way. Something I really didn't want to see is, let me get the light in here, how black that is in there. In the little grooves here, there's sitting oil, which means this motor has a lot of blow-by. Not good. I've been driving it now for a couple weeks. I've been checking oil. It didn't seem like it was losing any oil, so who knows how bad it is. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it took a couple years for that to build up like that. It's still not good, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna get this washer fluid and coolant reservoir out of here next. I pulled out the ABS module and cable. I'm not gonna show you how to do that because I broke it. I was trying to get out of this here, which holds the throttle and cruise control cable, and you gotta pull back and lift up. I didn't pull back enough and snapped it, so that's that. Otherwise it's just a bolt on the fender here and the whole module comes out. To remove this, there's a 10mm back behind here, and an 11 down here, an 11 on the bottom down here, down there, and then another 10mm on the fender here. Why they couldn't make it all just 10mm or 11mm, I don't know. I'm going to work on pulling AC out. I am not putting AC in the Ranger. I live in Wisconsin. I don't need AC. It doesn't get that hot here. And if it does, it's for 2-3 days. I can live without AC. So I'm not going to show this because I'm probably going to end up cutting most of this, except for the wire harness, because I don't know what I need of that yet. And I don't want to cut something stupid. But most of these hard lines I'm just going to cut. I already cracked this open. There was no brush in there. There was nothing. That explains why the air didn't work. So maybe this air could work, but I'm not even going to try. I'm just going to get all the AC stuff out of the way. after I pull the AC out, I'm probably gonna pull these radiator hoses. I'll show you a cool tool I got for that. Here's that tool I was gonna show you guys. Got it from Snap-on. I've never seen one before, so I don't know if anyone else makes them. Kind of hope they do. This was kind of expensive, of course, being from Snap-on. But it's for hose clamps. It's got these two teeth there. I don't know if you can see that. And when you squeeze the handle, it pinches down and then it ratchets, if you heard that. So it'll stay there wherever you ratchet it to. So it'll grab I'll show you on the Explorer here. The sun makes it really hard to show what I'm talking about here. But these style clamps, you know, you gotta pinch them together. All you gotta do is get those teeth over the edge of that clamp. Can't really do this one-handed. Let me get it on there first. So I've got it on the hose clamp down there. I got it like one click on here. So why it's nice is normally you gotta grab a pliers and try and get a pliers in there, and it's never where you can get a pliers straight on. And you can't get it tight enough or squeeze it. So now I've got that on there. I can squeeze the end of this some more and it'll hold it right there. So it's holding it open. Then you can wiggle this around and move that clamp out of the way so you can pull the hose right off. And then with the cable, obviously, no matter where it is, like that lower radiator hose I can get to from up top, because I can just wiggle this down there and squeeze onto it. Makes it so much easier to do those. I used to hate those clamps so much. Now I like when I get to use that tool. Alright, I took a break, went to the grocery store, got some food, made some food, ate lunch. Kind of lost where I was at as far as in the video. I know I took the AC out, showed you how to undo these hoses, and I forgot what I was doing after that. Anyways, I'm gonna take this radiator out next. So far all I've done is take off these trans lines, one up top, one on the bottom. One thing to watch out for on these, don't know if you can see it on here, it's got these real little dashes on the nut there. The dashes mean that it's left-hand thread, if you ever see that. Something kind of handy. I didn't know that for a while. Then I learned that dashes mean left-hand thread, so spin the opposite way so you don't strip it. The 5-liter radiator is way bigger than the 3-liter. You see how wide the 3-liter is here? Maybe an inch. This gotta be 2-3 inches wide. The only downfall is this has trans cooler in it, so that, I mean, that takes up part of it. This AC condenser on the front will come off. The 3-liter didn't have it because I pulled AC out of the Ranger a long time ago, and I removed everything completely, so that was a little bit easier to take out of the Ranger. I'm gonna work on power steering now. I'm gonna take off the pressure line and the return line off the pump and reservoir. Then there's just this clip here that holds the 2 lines to the pump. Just gonna undo those, move those out of the way, and see where I'm at from there. There's not much more to do here. The hardest part looks like it's gonna be undoing the trans, since I don't have as much room as I did on the Ranger, since I cut all the suspension out. I'd really like to not drop the trans out the bottom like I did on the Ranger. I'd like to just unbolt it and pull the motor out itself, leave the trans in there, so I don't even have to deal with it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get those bolts back there. Okay, as I'm plugging some more stuff, I undid the throttle cable, and next there's 2 fuel lines. I think one's a return, I'm not sure, I need to look that up. On the Ranger there's only 1 line, so I think it's returnless, and this one has a return, so I'm gonna have to figure out how that's gonna work between the 2 trucks. Anyways, in the last video I spent probably about an hour of time trying to undo the fuel line. What I ended up doing was taking it off with the regulator, I think it was. Yeah, it's supposed to separate right here. I ended up taking it off all the way back here under the frame, or it was tucked in the frame under the truck. Seeing as that this one has two, the trans isn't out of there. That one was kind of easy because the trans was out of the way. The trans is still in here, and it's gonna be pretty difficult. And somewhere I had these things. I have these from Harbor Freight. These are supposed to be fuel line and AC line disconnectors. It's supposed to be the tool for that, for Fords. They didn't work. I don't think I have one big enough. This is the biggest one I got, I think, 3/8. And so I made a run to O'Reilly's because I know they had this. I thought maybe I could rent it, but they have it for sale. It was like 12 bucks. This has a lot bigger sizes. See, 3/8 is all I got. So there's this many more. And then I saw these ones. I don't know what the difference is, but these I think were 8 bucks or something, so I figured why not. Okay, back a few days later. I got really frustrated the other day when I was trying to, I don't remember what I was trying to do. I think I was trying to get the trans bolts out. I got all those out. It is impossible to film. I can't even get a hand in there, let alone try and show you on a camera. But yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. There's bolts in the trans and the motor, pull them out. So today I started with this. I posted on Instagram saying I was having a hard time getting this out. I was referring to the bolts in the back and just kind of engine mounts and stuff, but everyone was like, well, cut the core support out and it helps when you pull the motor out. Not to that step yet, but I cut it out just so I had more room in here. Definitely makes it a lot easier as long as you don't care about the truck. I was trying to be really nice to it in case someone wanted it. I don't know why though. It's pretty far gone. It's really rotted. Rusty but trusty. So that's really all I've done is cut that out. I had this harness here was just laid on the back side of it. I just pulled it off, cut it with a Sawzall. This is really rotted and Sawzall didn't want to cut it, so I just folded it out of the way for now. Alright, ready to come out. Got the engine mount bolts. I had to come through the wheel well here, use a wrench that was bent to be able to get in there. Kind of upset, these fuel lines that I couldn't get undone here. Light up. That connection's supposed to come apart. This one I cut. This one was like really frozen in there, and this one I could get the tool in there, and I was pulling on it, prying on it. I could get a twist, just wouldn't come apart, and then I pulled on it one last time, and the fuel line just snapped. So I figured if that one snapped, this one's in worse condition, and I just cut it. I'm gonna have to get new fuel lines, which kind of sucks. I was really trying to save them. Starter pulled off. I believe everything is off and it's ready to come out. So I got it lowered down on the ground as far down as I can get it to still get the engine hoist under. I got the ratchet straps hooked up. I really don't like how this one is. That side I got it wrapped around the exhaust manifold. This side I couldn't do that because it hugs the head so close. So what I had to do is wrap it around this accessory bracket here. We'll see how that works. They're kind of both more towards the front of the motor, so it's kind of going to want to lean back, which might work in my favor since the trans is still attached.